Hello ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to Race 31 of Season 9 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Doritos 500 at Ontario Motor Speedway, as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing at the Tricky Rectangle. Starting lineup for the race this week in the last row, it's Chris Dollarton and Alexander Rowe. Top 10, Carson Gum scoring his second pole of the season with Jessica Sheldon starting next to him. Row 2, it's the $9.99 special, Jordan Lopez and Caleb Kilburn. Row 3, Jordan Forbes, Kyle Matthews. Row 4, Alyssa Drayson, James Qualls. And then row 5, Dylan Young and Seth Cole. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Doritos 500 at Ontario.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers rolling on the track for the one pace lap here. Now, we are getting closer and closer to the end of the season, and the championship battle is really starting to rev up. As coming into the race today, Scott Groverston took the points lead back for the first time in quite a while, but only leads by 7 points over Zachary Fitzwater. However, both Groverston and Fitzwater are going to have to start their journeys from the back of the field. So they've got a lot of work to do if they're going to be able to maintain this championship battle between those two, because look who's right behind them. Carson Gum, 50 points behind in third. Dylan Young, 52 back in fourth. Alyssa Drayson, 59 back in fifth. Sixth, Caleb Kilburn, 61 back. Ashlyn Boyd, 68 back. Matt McIntyre, 69 back. And Rafael Leduc, 71 back. And even some long shots like Keith Miller Jr. and Melissa Alexander, who are 81 back, and Daniel Voiles, 89 back. But anything can happen in these, after today, well, count today, 6 races left in the season. After today, it will be 5 left before the season comes to a close. And actually, going to make this note right now that after the season finale at Kansas next Friday, not this Friday, but the Friday after, major announcement regarding Season 10, as well as some other plans I have in mind. You're going to want to you're going to want to watch out for a special announcement video on Saturday. I'm trying to remember what day it would be, but it would be the day after the Kansas race. But the pace car is in the pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity, boogity, boogity go racing. Jordan Lopez led the first lap, took it from Carson Gum, but now Alyssa Drayson won to get the lead for herself and has the spot, but there are a lot of drivers shuffling throughout the field, gathering spot after spot after spot, and right behind her is fourth in points, Dylan Young, as these are 2 of the top 5 in the point standings that are trying to reel in closer to that championship battle with Scott Groverston and Zachary Fitzwater. And how about that with Dylan Young? He wants to enter into that fray so bad to make it at least a 2-car fight for the championship for Young Motorsports. Could you imagine if one of the Young Motorsports drivers manages to come out with the championship? That would be quite something for that team, and Dylan Young will lead that lap and get a very, very important bonus point that could benefit him later in the season. But wow, big bonsai pass from Joey Parkhill, and Joey Parkhill still trying to get back into the top 30 in the point standings as he is in desperation mode to score a win and to have it to where all three of the Zev Bellringer Enterprise drivers win at least once this season. Alyssa Drayson with 2 wins, Melissa Alexander with 1 win. It's just Joey Parkhill is the lone driver out of that team that has yet to win a race. After this lap, we're going to try and go one by one to find where the top 12 in the points drivers are on the racetrack. As right now, Alyssa Drayson, the highest of those drivers, in second, and she's going to get a huge head of steam to try and make a pass on teammate Joey Parkhill for the lead. There is Matt McIntyre, 8th in the point standings, and like I said, 69 points behind the points lead. Oh, hard crash! Seth Cole just got pummeled! Oh my goodness, that does not look pretty. Seth Cole, Stephen Collon, James Qualls caught up in a big, hard crash. Look at the damage on Seth Cole. I don't think I've ever seen a car torn up quite as bad as that. But while that was happening, Matt McIntyre managed to take the lead from the 77 and the 87 and will lead under caution now. But man, that looked like a scary accident in turns 1 and 2 back here. I'm really worried about Seth Cole as he took a couple of brutal impacts that I'm gonna be cautious when we take a look at that replay. Right in there in turn 2 is the chaos. The skid marks all over the place. But Matt McIntyre took the lead during that whole ordeal. Let's take you to the replay to find out what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Ontario. Well, here's a look at how this happened. So this is around mid-pack, 20th place right here. Seth Cole has the spot. They're going into turn 2 here. Alexander Rowe has a huge run, but Seth Cole tries to come down but just doesn't make it happen. But the 66 ends up turning to 25, and hard impact passenger side first into that outside concrete wall. But here comes the big hit as he's pirouetting on the track. The 8 of Stephen Collon had nowhere to go. Hard contact into the front end of Seth Cole and then gets hit by James Qualls. Collon goes hard into the wall, destroyed the motor. James Qualls somehow, some way, managed to drive away from that, but the 2 behind them, the 8 and the 25, come to a dead stop as a result. So those 2 are guaranteed bottom 5, as it looks like as though Seth Cole's championship hopes, anything that was left of that, has pretty much gone up in flames. So, hard crash for those 2, the 8 and the 25, particularly the 25. First, a hard hit into the concrete wall passenger side first, and then hit hard in the front end. Look at how tore up that car is. Unbelievable. But let's take you to the restart here at Ontario. Well, as expected, 2 cars are officially done for today, and they include Stephen Collon and Seth Cole, so they will unfortunately, not be getting points as a result of all that chaos. Down to 38 cars on the racetrack, 37 realistically still in the hunt. And we still got a long way to go, as Matt McIntyre currently leads. Second is Jesse Turner. Third is Jordan Lopez. Fourth, Jonathan Zorline. Fifth, Alyssa Drayson. Sixth is Quentin Moore. Seventh, William Brock. Eighth, Joey Parkhill. Ninth, Charles Belding. 10th, Kyle Matthews. 11th is Melissa Alexander. 12th is Daniel Voiles. 13th, Jordan Forbes. 14th, Daniel Bichard. 15th, Rafael Leduc. 16th, Dylan Young. 17th, Jessica Shelton. 18th, Caleb Kilburn. 19th, Carson Gum. 20th is Patrick Smith. 21st is Jackson Traeger. 22nd, Cole Deever. 23rd, Henry Sanford. 24th, is Keith Miller Jr., 25th, Michael Norman, 26th is Ashlyn Boyd, 27th, Zachary Fitzwater, 28th, Trey Wright, 29th, Dylan Jacobs, 30th, Austin LaPlante. 31st is Arthur Xavier, 32nd, Alexander Rowe, 33rd, Scott Groverston, 34th, Mitchell Collins, 35th, Ryan Acosta. Then the rest of the drivers in the field are Jay Jefferson, Chris Dollarton, and James Qualls. As we're coming through turn 4 to get ready for the green flag, big key factor we got to keep in mind, when will drivers have to come to pit road? Because nobody pitted under that caution, which is going to really shake things up as far as pit strategy. But the pace car is in the pit road, and ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to get back underway. Green flag racing here at Ontario, 22 to go. Matt McIntyre got off to a decent jump on that restart. Nobody up front going to take a spot yet, but look at Jesse Turner looking to peek on the inside. And is there. Well, at least he was there for a moment. But he couldn't quite capitalize on the move. Whoa, little nudge in the left rear quarter panel by Jesse Turner, but it couldn't quite make it stick, as here comes Jonathan Zorline, Matt McIntyre's teammate and co-owner of McIntyre Zorline Racing. But now Jesse Turner finally sticks it underneath and tries to go for the lead himself. Jesse Turner, who has been really struggling the past several races, has fallen to the dead zone 30th place in the point standings. If he ends up losing 44 points after this race to Joey Parkhill, he would end up falling out of the top 30 as a result. Right now he's looking solid for a good finish, as look at all the Fords up here. 3 Fords up here in the top 5. But then you got the Dodge of Quentin Moore, who has won twice this season, and he's come out of nowhere in both of those races. Oh, but look at Alyssa Drayson going to make a dive bomb 3 wide pass to get to 3rd, as she is desperate to try and gain as much points as possible to get back in the hunt for the championship. Because remember, after this season, the points structure itself for the championship is going to be changed drastically. And I mean drastically, it's going to be changed. Instead of 1 point per position, it's 5 points per position, but with a 15-point gap between first and second. Although it might get changed again, although we might be working on something else with it at some point. Perhaps it'll be 10 points gap, and we're still trying to work out the bonus points scenario of it all, other than just the 5 points for leading a lap and the 5 points for leading the most laps. Alyssa Drayson really hungry to get up to the front, and she thought about making a dive bomb move to get underneath the 14 of McIntyre, but to no avail right there. But there's still plenty of time left in this race to try and do some stuff like this. But now, like I was going to get to earlier before that caution came out, we're going to take a look and see how the top 12 in the standings are currently running, as McIntyre leads, but Drayson looking hot to come underneath for the position, as she looks like is going to take the spot entering turn 2, and she does. McIntyre falls back to 3rd for the time being. Meanwhile, the rest of the top 12 in standings, Rafael Leduc in 11th, having a solid run going right now. Meanwhile, Dylan Young last scored 12th. The next one I see, Caleb Kilburn in the 99 was last time scored 19th. And then, let's see, Carson Gum last scored 25th. And then the points leader, Scott Groverston, trying to push his way through the field, as you see him right there in that 42. Meanwhile, I'm looking around for anybody else in that hunt. I see Zachary Fitzwater. He's currently looking to be in that bottom 5 position. Same with Ashlyn Boyd. Where is Keith Miller Jr.? There he is. And wow, a lot of passing going on right there, as Keith looking to go in the middle, trying to get into the top 15 on the racetrack. The back up here at the front, it is a massive hornet's nest of drivers battling it out for the lead as Matt McIntyre took the lead from at the line. Daniel Bouchard, I guess, somehow led a lap. I don't know how. We didn't get to see it because we were trying to track down the top 12 in the standings. Oh, yeah, one more we forgot about. Where is Melissa Alexander in the 78 at? There she is. Last scored 13th. Solid run going for herself. Meanwhile, it's like the top 10 are all up here fighting for the win right now. But there's still more than half of the race left to be run and pit stops. Can't forget about the pit stops. But Matt McIntyre has been really the one constant up here at the front, although Alyssa Drayson really slowed down right there in turn 3. And it's because they're pitting. Oh, this is going to make it a very close fuel mileage race because Matt McIntyre is going to sacrifice the lead to come to pit road, and then a few other drivers coming in behind, Carson Gum being one of them. And I don't know, they might make it just barely on gas, I don't know, but these drivers who are still out here have a much stronger cushion to make it on gas if we stay clean and green the rest of the race. Right now, Kyle Matthews currently holding on to that top position on the racetrack for the time being, is Jonathan Zorline looking to go to the inside for now. But we gotta wait and see. Oh, I got a feeling if some of these drivers are going to come to pit road, it's going to be a clusterfuck. And excuse my language, but you get the idea. Well, maybe not, although Park Hill went all the way down to the grass. But here comes pretty much the entire rest of the field. Yeah, everybody's coming in together, so this is going to be a congested pit road either way you slice it. And I'm trying to find... Yeah, there is Matt McIntyre well ahead of everybody behind him. So McIntyre got out first of the small first group of cars to come down pit road. Going to go to the pit lane camera to take a look and see who comes out ahead of the large group. The congested group, so to speak. As the leader coming in was Jonathan Zorline at the moment. And it looks like most drivers are going to go with 4 tires and fuel. Zorline comes out ahead of Lopez, Matthews, Drayson, Parkhill, and Voiles. But I see Matt McIntyre coming in the background. Can he get out ahead of his teammate and co-owner of their respected team? Oh, it's going to be close, but Zorline, I think, is going to get back up to speed going into turn 3 here. Although McIntyre coming in like a bat out of hell. But Zorline already getting back up close to 180 miles per hour, so it looks like Zorline is going to be able to cycle around as the race leader now. And now the field has really spread out as a result of those pit stops. But will they come back together as a result? We will see. But we got 14 laps to go. Little less than halfway through this race. So we're going to try and do our best to do a full field rundown as it stands. Jonathan Zorline currently leads. Second is Matt McIntyre. Huge battle for third, which is currently going to be held by Jordan Lopez. Fourth, Cole Deever. Fifth, Kyle Matthews. Sixth is Alyssa Drayson. Seventh, Daniel Voiles. Eighth, Quentin Moore. Ninth is Joey Parkhill. 10th, Charles Belding. 11th, Jessica Sheldon. 12th, Carson Gum. 13th, Ryan Acosta. 14th currently is Patrick Smith. 15th, Daniel Bouchard. 16th, Jay Jefferson. 17th, William Brock. 18th, Jackson Traeger. 19th, Arthur Xavier. 20th, Rafael Leduc. 21st, Austin LaPlante. 22nd, Zachary Fitzwater. 23rd, Keith Miller Jr. 24th, Scott Groverston. 25th, Mitchell Collins. 26th is Dylan Young. 27th, Jesse Turner. 28th, Ashlyn Boyd. 29th, Melissa Alexander. 30th, Michael Norman. 31st, Caleb Kilburn. 32nd, Henry Sanford. 33rd, Jordan Forbes. 34th is Alexander Rowe. 35th, Trey Wright. 36th, Dylan Jacobs. 37th, Chris Dollarton. And then 38th, James Qualls. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Jonathan Zorling still hanging on to the lead by 1.3 seconds at the last time at the line over Matt McIntyre. But does the 14 have what it takes to run down the 00? Lost a lot of time. Now the 1.8 seconds separating. As meanwhile, the drivers behind the 14 have an advantage of being together in a draft, which is helping them close the gap on the top two. Can they stay together and catch back up to second and then the lead? Well, they are definitely reeling in the 14 of Matt McIntyre, but can they also reel in Jonathan Zorling? Because that's going to be a big difference maker, as well as fuel management of who is going to win this race. Jonathan Zorling looking for his first win of the season, who has had a very up and down season for himself. Sometimes he gets into the top 20, sometimes he falls out. Currently 17th in the standings coming in, but not far behind the top 10 in the standings. Not far off at all. About 40 or 38 points behind 10th in the standings. So Zorling could be very close to getting into the top 10 if he were to win here today. Meanwhile, that second group of cars have caught Matt McIntyre. So Matt McIntyre now joins in this group of cars that are working together to run down the 00 of Jonathan Zorling to make it a bigger battle for the win. With 10 laps to go here at Ontario, time running out for everybody. 2.6 seconds separates the top two. As Daniel Voiles takes the position, and I completely forgot about Voiles when we were looking around for the top 12 in points. He's been quietly in the top 10 almost all day long. Now up to second and the highest of the top 12 in the point standings on track. So he could gain a lot of ground on the championship battle, particularly since the 42 and the 12, according to scoring, are in the second half of the field, almost to the bottom of the field. Definitely a lot of championship implications on this race. And remember, after today, there are only 5 races left in the season. So like I said before, time running out for drivers to make a run at the championship. Jonathan Zorling barely hanging on to the top spot on the track, as Jordan Lopez trying to lead the second group of cars. Whoa, that was almost contact with Kyle Matthews and Quentin Moore right there. But Jordan Lopez trying to lead this group all the way back to Matt McIntyre in hopes of running down the 00 before they would possibly have to come to pit road again. But now Kyle Matthews says, no, it's my turn to lead the charge. And you can tell the draft definitely plays a big factor in speeds on the straightaways, especially. Margin at the line, almost 3 seconds, so actually Zorling's starting to pull away slightly from the rest of the field, and that's because everybody back here, from Matthews back to McIntyre, just keep racing each other instead of working together to run down the 00. So the longer these guys keep this racing bit up, the more that it's going to benefit Zorling. But now they're trying to, well, it looked like they were going to settle it down, but it doesn't look like it this time, as Voiles trying to get back into the second spot. Now they're kind of, well, at least they were starting to form a single file line to track down the 00. Still 3 seconds separating first from second. And how about other drivers up here? Cole Deever we haven't really talked about all day. He pitted the same lap as Matt McIntyre, and it's proven to work in his benefit in terms of getting yet another good finish. He moved up in the 29th in the point standings, technically tied for 30th with Jesse Turner. But Deever's really been coming into his own as of late in getting some really good finishes, because he wants to end the season on a high note before we head into Season 10. Six laps to go here at Ontario, and the margin now shrunk a little bit as Zorline's starting to slow down on the track. Even though these guys keep racing each other, they are gaining a little bit of ground, not an insane amount of ground like they should be trying to get. And the only way they can gain more ground is by getting single file working together and run down the 00. Matthews in second, but Voiles wants to get back into that spot for himself. And yeah, you got 3 of the top 12 in the point standings in this little group. Voiles, Drayson, and McIntyre. Voiles 12th in points, McIntyre 8th in points, and Drayson 5th in points. As it's now less than 5 laps to go, and the margin grew, but the caution is out. Caution flag is out. Oh, looks like a incident with Austin LaPlante, and 10th or 11th in points, Melissa Alexander. Ashlyn Boyd, 7th in points, was involved. Looks like Dylan Young might have had a piece of what had happened here. Looks like Michael Norman with damage. Maybe he might have been a culprit of this whole thing. We might end up getting a 1-lap shootout or a green-white checkered, possibly. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But there goes that big lead Jonathan Zorline had to try and win this race. So now the race is about to get really interesting, as let's take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Ontario. Perhaps a little bit of championship desperation getting the best of certain drivers, as watch Scott Groverston. He's going to make a move to the inside of Ashlyn Boyd to get up higher on the racetrack, and we're going to go to helicopter view. Yeah, the contact, it looks like Groverston just slid in there a little bit too quick, overdrove the corner, and gets up into the 51 of Ashlyn Boyd, ends up dumping the 51, and the 51 going to have pretty much a similar hard impact, passenger side first, just like Seth Cole, and then similar, but this time towards the passenger side, big hit from Melissa Alexander as a result. Dylan Young actually, whoa, and Ashlyn Boyd ended up upside down as a result. So that was the hit from LaPlante that happened. Oh, Boyd, he's going to go for some barrel rolls here. A few slow barrel rolls down the back straightaway here at Ontario after getting hit by the 48 of Austin LaPlante, and ends up coming to rest on his roof. Let's actually count the barrel rolls he ends up taking here. So he's going to go over once and then goes back over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like ends up 6.5 times going over. And there you see him coming to rest on his roof. That very well might have ended the championship hopes of the 51 of Ashlyn Boyd. The only 3-time winner this season is going to end up out of the race as a result. But let's take you to the restart here at Ontario. Well, after that caution, we actually had more drivers out of the race for some reason. Mitchell Collins, Dylan Jacobs, Dylan Young are out, but the expected ones, Melissa Alexander, Ashlyn Boyd, and Austin LaPlante, are done. But we are going to get a 1-lap shootout. Only, I think, the second time this season that we have had a one-lap shootout determine the end of the race, I believe. So this is going to get really aggressive as Jonathan Zorleen hangs on to the race lead for now. Jordan Lopez is second, Alyssa Drayson third, Daniel Voiles fourth, Quentin Moore fifth. Sixth is Cole Deever, seventh Kyle Matthews, eighth Matt McIntyre, ninth Ryan Acosta, 10th Jackson Traeger. 11th Charles Belding, 12th Jay Jefferson, 13th Joey Parkhill, 14th Patrick Smith, 15th Carson Gum, 16th William Brock, 17th Jessica Sheldon, 18th Daniel Bouchard, 19th Rafael Leduc, 30th Arthur Xavier. 31st Zachary Fitzwater, or 21st Zachary Fitzwater, 22nd Jesse Turner, 23rd Caleb Kilburn, 24th Keith Miller Jr., 25th Michael Norman, 26th Trey Wright, 27th Scott Groverston, 28th Jordan Forbes, 29th Henry Sanford, 30th Chris Dollarton, 31st James Qualls, and 32nd Alexander Rowe. Brace yourselves for a crazy one-lap shootout to determine the end of this race and the winner. Can Jonathan Zorleen hold off everybody behind him and get his first win of the season? Or will other drivers play spoiler to the 00's chances of a good win? As pace cars in pit road, the green and white flags are out here at Ontario. Final lap. Jonathan Zorleen got a fantastic jump on that restart. That is what he needed to do. But can he hold everybody off? 3 wide for second. Daniel Voiles trying to push all he has in hopes of getting up there to challenge the 00. But I don't think it's going to happen because Zorleen had such a fantastic restart and everybody behind him is slipping in a big way. I don't think they're going to catch him. Even down the straightaway, it's not going to be enough. Zorleen just had too much power up at the front, had a fantastic restart, and took advantage of everybody racing behind him. As we're getting ready to come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, nothing's going to stop Jonathan Zorleen from finally winning a race this season. Checkered flag waving, Jonathan Zorleen wins the Doritos 500 at Ontario. Huge victory for that organization of McIntyre Zorleen Racing. Unbelievable. I can't believe it myself. Finally, after a season of struggles, Jonathan Zorleen finally picks up a victory. Although, is he out of gas now? I think he might be... Yeah, I think he might be out of gas. I think that everybody had 1 lap to the good on gas, so Jonathan Zorleen just barely had enough to squeak by to win that race. But let's look at the rest of the results. Quentin Moore made a huge move to try and get to the win, but still great run in the second position for that 27 team. Cole Deever finishing in a strong 3rd place run, continuing momentum on his side. Fantastic job in that 3 car. Daniel Voiles, solid run in 4th. That is exactly what he needs to stay alive in the championship battle. And how about Jackson Traeger, 2nd top 5 of the season and 5th. Jay Jefferson regaining momentum for himself, finishing in a strong 6th place run. Alyssa Drayson definitely going to gain a lot of points on the points lead, finishing in 7th. Ryan Acosta with a great run in 8th. Joey Parkhill, best run he's had in quite a while, finishing 9th. And then Kyle Matthews rounding out the top 10 and 10th. Then there is your top 20, top 30. And then the bottom 5 for this week was Melissa Alexander, Ashlyn Boyd, Austin LaPlante, Stephen Collin, and Seth Cole. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Ontario. Thank you so much for watching. Before we go, here is Zorleen's victory burnout and the point standings heading into the race on Wednesday. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.